Okay. We are going to look at the possibility of of USD dollar index, and we're going to look at the dollar index possibility, and we are anticipating either to weaken or drop because tonight we have a speech with Biden. Biden is going to give a speech, and we're looking at him unveiling because unveiling to 2.25 trillion expenditure. We are looking at this spending plan during his speech about 2.25 trillion. So they are going to pump in a lot of money. That's 2.25 trillion. Technically, we're going to look at, let's just cite out maybe USD card. You can look at USD card, which is here. Let's look at its possibilities technically, and we see where we lie based on it. Remember, we don't trade fundamental. And also on the speech, Biden's speech is going to happen at this time. It's going to happen at let's look at FX Street. FX Street. See the time the speech is meant to happen today. Economic calendar. Let's see. Okay, so this is the economic calendar. The time is the news is at 23.20, 20 hours. That's East African time. So we're expecting that the news to be strong because we all see the impact is in red. So let's look at USD CAD technically and see the possibilities. Daily, let's start with weekly analysis. But when we look at this pair, we expect a retracement on some level. So when we look onto it in a bigger time frame, we anticipate a continuous sell. Most likely, we were looking at it at this level here. We're going to consider this diagonal here. Okay, we have our touch point 1, 2, 3. So this pair is most likely to come up here. Those are the possibilities that we anticipate. Possibly it might come up to here. The minimum it can drop is up to this level. The minimum it can drop is here. Okay, but we are looking at it respecting this diagonal for it to continue with an upward trend. Okay, now when we look at this other support area, there's also this possibility of it dropping up to an area of 0.0 1.06 to 290. So this trade, the way we are looking at, we might see still a further drop. But also, we put in consideration on tonight's speech by the President of America, Joe Biden, will also determine whether it's going to continue dropping or it will reverse, continue moving, to reverse going upwards. So technically, we're looking at this trade to come up to here. Technical analysis. When we go into daily, let's look onto daily time frame. Daily time frame. The time frame, we're seeing a breakout, okay, and we see this previous low was engulfed by this. This other low was engulfed by this previous low. So we see a retracement on some area here, which is a zone, a supply zone. So we're looking at this as a resistance level, okay, which is 1.26300. Okay, this is a zone. we saw a breakout, and we're seeing it respecting it. Okay, so we can also consider looking at maybe some diagonal. We might be having some diagonal here. Okay, this diagonal is giving us our touch point 1, 2, 3, 4 touch points. Okay, and we're already seeing that there's a rejection on either on both diagonal and horizontal. Okay, and this slab, this zone, supply zone, and we're seeing a rejection. Okay, this is daily time frame, meaning it was a retest to this area here for a continuation of a downward movement. Okay, let's go into other smaller time frame, H4. H4, we're also seeing a rejection. It engulfed already on this area here. Okay, just a second. Okay, we're seeing an engulfing on a diagonal and a zone, meaning there's a rejection on on a supply zone. Okay, we can also look at this diagonal here, which we are seeing a breakout. Okay, it was supposed to respect this diagonal if it was continuing moving up. So we're seeing a breakout, and we've seen some retest on the diagonal. So meaning chances are this trade is still dropping down, and it made a proper retest. Okay, let's continue going into H1 time frame. H1 time frame. Okay, it also shows you that there is a rejection, and we see a retest on a diagonal, and there is this other area of 1.26268. Okay, we seeing all the possibilities of this trade, showing us it has to sell unless otherwise, if the news comes in and pushes it in the opposite direction. But technically, like our weekly time frame, we've seen that this trade, at least it might drop, minimum has to drop this area here. And when we look onto how many pips are this, from where the current price line is, it was about 704 pips. So if we hit our target and we drop up to anticipated major support line, we shall move to around 1,670 pips. So this trade shows you that it broke out and it made a proper retest on this area here, the resistance area, because we've checked it in daily. Daily, there's some diagonal line which we've seen from here, came and rejected because it has been respecting it. Okay, and also there's a horizontal, the horizontal area, which is a supply zone, came and also rejected. And we also saw a breakout on a diagonal in H4 and H1, and a retest on a diagonal. It's more clear in H1, as you see. And we're seeing some rejection, a pin back. So this trade is going to play an accumulation game until 11:20 hours East African time. So this trade technically possibility that it has to sell. Okay, so I would recommend someone to wait until the news is until the president of America has given a speech. Then we can determine and look onto whether the dollar index to weaken or to continue gaining. Okay, so same as USD JPY. USD JPY, we had anticipated a sell within this week, but still you see they are still rejecting it. They are still pushing it upwards. Okay, so our selling area is still, we are still in the zone. By the way, when you check onto the weekly 1, 2, 3 touch points, we are still in the zone. So the 11:20 hours speech will determine whether the dollar index is going to weaken. If it weakens, we anticipate a weakening of the dollar index. We shall just move in and we hold this trade up to this area here or here. Okay, so USD CAD technically, must sell. 90% show that it has to drop, going downwards. Okay, so let's wait and see what will happen at 23:20 hours East African time. Okay, okay, see you then. Stay focused, make sure you really follow the principles, trade properly, manage your accounts. Don't focus on making money so quick. Just focus on learning the business. Focus on knowing when to enter into the market and when to exit. And I prefer when you're doing it in a professional way, hold your trades. Don't focus on 10, 20, 30 pips. Focus on at least 100 pips plus. Okay? The market will be good for you and you'll be able to enjoy trading without emotions. Because once you start focusing on growing, making money quick, you end up messing up, and also it will make you over trade and also focusing on small pips because you start gambling and not knowing what you are doing. Okay, I wouldn't despise people who scalp, but also I'm looking at trading technically, whereby someone has to really master the game and do it in a professional way. Usually, people who are into the position traders, they know what they are doing. First thing is because they know where the market is going. They have mastered the trend of the market. Okay? See you at the top. Stay blessed.